So you're thinking about moving to Montgomery, Texas? Today I'm going to share with you all the pros and some of the cons about living in Montgomery, Texas. So hang around until the end and you'll understand why people love or hate Montgomery, Texas. If this is your first time to the channel and you're interested in all things about living in Houston and the surrounding suburbs, subscribe and you'll be the first to know about the current housing market in Houston, Texas. I'm Erica Sprague, the broker and owner of Lane Realty. I've been practicing real estate for the last 15 years in Houston, Texas. I grew up in San Antonio, I went to Texas A&M, and then moved to Houston and made it my home. I love helping families relocate and move within the Houston area. So if your move is 9 days or 90 days from now, feel free to reach out at any time. Our contact information is in the description. And we'd love to hear from you so we can help you make your move to Houston a smooth one. Montgomery, Texas is one of the small suburbs on the outskirts of Houston. There's just over 2,000 people who live in the actual city limits of Montgomery, but it is in one of the fastest growing and largest counties in the state of Texas. Also sharing its name, Montgomery County. Montgomery is a small town full of charm and history. They love having their small, historic downtown populated with small business owners, mainly mom and pop shops. They are committed to celebrating the fact that Montgomery is the home of the Texas flag, and it is not uncommon to see the Texas flag proudly displayed right next to the United States flag in front of storefronts and residents alike. So who lives in Montgomery, Texas? Well, the median age is 36, and 45% of those people are less than 34, with the next largest demographic being over 55. Most households do have children, and the median household income is $78,000. This is 2% higher than the state average. If you're a single individual, the average individual salary is just about $55,000, which is 20% higher than the state average. So if you are living alone, you're doing really well. Then you might ask, well, is it affordable? Can I afford to live in Montgomery, Texas? And the cost of living in Montgomery, Texas as a whole is about 6% less than the national average. The median household cost is about $586,000, and the average rental rate for a 2-bedroom, 2-bath is just about $1,500. The cost of living is less than most places in the US. It is less to live in Montgomery than it is to live in this city of Houston, so that's a positive as well. So that brings us to our pros. What are the pros of Montgomery, Texas? Well, as I told you, Montgomery is a small community. It's full of history and charm. The community has pulled together and maintained the history of the downtown area and the homes that were a part of the Confederate history here in Montgomery. You can see there is a row of houses that are open to the public at times throughout the year where visitors can come through and see the history that still remains there. 2, there's a lot of natural beauty in Montgomery. There are many pastures, lots of trees, tons of wildflowers. There's a vineyard. We have Lake Conroe right next door, very easy to get to. So you're able to take part in the outdoor environment and really enjoy all there is to have. There's a lot of equestrian places. We have trails. You can cycle. You can get your ATV out and ride through your pastures or some of the parks that are meant for that. There are golf courses. There are dirt bike parks and tracks. So pretty much any recreational activity that you want to partake in, it's available to you. Montgomery offers housing for all price points and all lifestyles. So no matter what you're looking for, Montgomery has it. You could have a small home in a tiny suburb. You could have a medium-sized home in a master plan community. You could have a home on acreage with a barn for your workshop. You could have a house on the lake. You could have hundreds of acres if you wanted to buy a ranch. And so the options are pretty much endless for the type of housing and the price points available in Montgomery, Texas, and that makes it a welcoming place for all sorts of people. The public school system in Montgomery is sound. There are 2 high schools, 2 junior highs, and multiple elementary schools. Montgomery also has several private schools available to it. There are some in Montgomery, some in Conroe, and then the Woodlands, which is not very far, and also in Houston. There's a great resource of charter schools if you're looking for a school that is very unique and caters specifically to a certain need of your child, then that is not far away either. So these are some of the reasons why you would love to live in Montgomery, Texas. But let's talk about some of the cons or challenges of living in Montgomery, Texas. Some of the cons of living in Montgomery, Texas are going to be limited public transportation. So if you're used to having the DART rail or using a more formal mode of transportation, Montgomery doesn't really have that. So if you want to ride a bike, you can ride your bike. If you want to have an electric scooter to get around town, that would work for you too. But if you're looking for a commuting situation for work or just to get around the town, Montgomery really doesn't have those options for you like some cities do. If you are looking to commute downtown, you can go to the Woodlands and they have a bus. You could jump on and use that to go downtown. But otherwise, you're really not going to have that extensive inner working of a public transportation in Montgomery. If you are living in Montgomery, Texas and commuting to Houston for work, it's going to take you about an hour, maybe 2, depending on the part of Houston that you're going to. There is a ton of traffic going down 45, and that is the main road that you'd most likely be on. You could take 149 down to 45, but eventually you will get to 45 and you will just experience all the people who are going in and going out at our major traffic times. We do have a lot of employers who are encouraging remote work or flex schedules. So if you're working remotely, then you might not incur the traffic. And if your employer is allowing flex work schedules, then you might have the flexibility to go at times that are not as heavily trafficked. As far as the weather that makes it so enjoyable to be outside, and we're able to capitalize on all the beauty that Texas has in the Montgomery area. It is hot. It's hot and it's humid. The humidity stays all year, and we don't really have a winter. We don't really have a fall, and we don't really have a spring. We have summer, and we get a lot of rain, and we get hurricanes at times. Up this far north, really you're going to see wind. You might get some rain, and we do get hail, and so that is a thing. But as far as having 4 seasons, if you want 4 seasons, you are not going to get them here. You're really going to get 1.5. It's really, really hot, and then it's just hot, and so you do get used to it, and after a while it gets really hard when the sun is not out and you just have to go outside. We can't handle it when it's rained for 3 or 4 days and we can't be outside doing the things we like to do. So if you are not interested in humidity, then this might not be the best choice for you. And then property taxes. Property taxes in Texas are higher than other states. Now, you have to remember, we don't have an income tax, so it offsets that. And not all taxes are the same in all areas. So it really depends on the county that you're living in. It depends on the school district that you reside in. And it depends on do you have a MUD, which is a municipal utility district, and that handles your sewer and your water. And then we also have exemptions that offset taxes. So if you are a primary residence and you live in this property as your main home, then you have a homestead exemption. And if you are over 65, there's an exemption. If you are a veteran, you have an exemption. If you are disabled, there is an exemption for that. So there are lots of tools there to help you curb that cost. Just remember, they're not the same everywhere. And really, as far as Montgomery goes, they range from a little over 1% up to 3, maybe low 3s if you have a brand new community that does have a mud tax. So those are the cons of living in Montgomery, Texas. And also maybe if you don't like agriculture, if you don't like cows or horses or pigs or sheep, and it's very likely that you will be in an area that's close to a farm, or just someone who has a couple horses or someone who has a couple sheep. So if you're not interested in that, then Montgomery might not be a good fit for you in that way. Montgomery, Texas, I'd encourage you to watch some of our other videos about surrounding suburbs in the Houston area.